Shabbat Shalom, everybody, and you are welcome to the Shabbat of this morning. And the parasha of this morning, actually, we titled the parasha of this morning as Parshas Va-Yetze. The parasha of this morning is known as Parshas Va-Yetze. I repeat again, the title of the parasha of this morning is known as Parshas Va-Yetze. And I subtitle it, Deceit, beget, deceit. Deceit, beget, deceit. That means if you deceive somebody, you think that you might think within yourself that you are smart and you are more, that you are more intelligent, or you can trick somebody. But I want you to understand that trickery beget trickery. So that is what I'm saying, that deceit beget deceit. Once you deceive somebody, you yourself will surely be deceived. All right. And I want to also say that we give glory to the Almighty God for the opportunity that the Holy One, blessed be He, has granted us to behold this day in the land of the living. So, as I said, the parasha is Parshas Va-Yetze, subtitle Deceit beget deceit. Wow! The parasha has everything needed for a great drama. A brother fleeing from his sibling, murderous intent, visions from God, love at first sight, deception and intrigue, a love triangle, and much more. It starts with the fleeing from home and closes with the fleeing to home. It opens with Jacob having a vision of angels of God and concluded with Jacob being met by the angel of God. Like bookends framing these formative years of his life, Jacob overcame with dignity everything that Laban can throw at him. For he knows that the Holy One, blessed be He, is with him, and therefore he will prevail in the end. See, this short summary is just what the entire parasha of this morning entails. Okay, you see, we can see a junior brother fleeing from the murderous intent of his brother, of the elder brother, because he has stolen the blessing that belongs to his brother. And so therefore it is kind of a guilty of his mind. He's guilty. He knows himself that he's guilty. And we can see that, we're going to see that next week, when he came clean, when he came openly, say, I know I am guilty, I am sorry. So we can see Jacob as a man, Jacob as a human being, Jacob with flesh and bone. I want us to always understand that the heroes in the Torah are human beings like me and you, and we can fall to the same trap. Now, and that is why the Torah is so interesting. Torah is not a storybook. Yeah, there must be some story in it, but it's not a kind of a novel whereby you just read 1, 2, 3, 4. No, there are very, very deep interpretation, spiritually and physical interpretation of it. So that me and you can actually affiliate or associate ourselves with these heroes in the Torah. That this is because there are some places, there are some understanding that have overlifted these heroes into some kind of demigod. Thereby we as a human being, we presently living, cannot associate ourselves with them because they are superheroes. So therefore, but I am telling us this morning that yes, Jacob Avenu is not a superhero, he's a human being that commits sin, that came short, and but the but that is there is that Jacob Avenu was able to overcome all those shortcomings. Are you ready to overcome your shortcoming? Or are you ready to just sit down there and say, poor me? No. You don't have to sit down there and say, hey, poor me, this is the way I am, I cannot improve, and that is it, and that is all. No, you can't just fold your hand and dig your head in the sand like ostrich and think that the problem will pass away. No. So what I'm saying this morning to us individually and collectively is that we can rise above the occasion. We can rise like Jacob Avenu and say, yes, I can do better. this is not me. This is not actually me. I know who I am in the spirit. I know who I am in my mind. I can rise above the occasion and do better and great. From the beginning, Jacob showed himself to be a compassionate as well as a compassionate man. He showed himself to be compassionate and a passionate man. It wasn't just ordinary person that oh, you know what, the attitude of I don't care. You know, that is where the problem of our society that we are right now is. Oh, I don't care. It is not me that is happening to. I'm not interested. But we can see in the life of Jacob Abenu that Jacob Abenu was a very, very compassionate man and a very passionate one. He showed compassion to those who wanted to come and fight Rahel in the well. He went, drove them out, and he allowed the girl to take the water for the sheep. You know, so these are a very important thing. He was a man, you know, that is convinced in his mind that there is God. He understood that principle from his child upbringing, from his father's home. He found himself caught between sisters' rivalry, having to balance between respect for the feeling and dignity of the wife he had no intention of marrying, and the love of his life for whose hand in marriage he has labored 7 years. You see, that is a passionate man. That is a part of him that is passionate, even though he doesn't love one, because the other one, Leah, was forced upon him, right? But he still have to balance everything up. He still have, he won't just come and show that, you know what, I don't like you, you are a garbage, I'm not interested, and that is all, and that is it, and that is all. But we can see in the life of Jacob Abenu that he was able to do what? To balance all this thing up, and to make sure that, that the love of his life, which is Rahel, was also taken care of, because that is the original intention of his life. Jacob left Bathsheba and set out for his uncle's home in Haran, and to Haran he came. Va-Yetze is a story of continued deceit. It is a story of accomplishment. It is a fantastic love story, as I said. It could also be called a journey into faith. Let's look at each of these concepts, preceded by the review of the parasha. Jacob is on the run from his brother Esau, as Esau is mad at him for stealing both his birthright and the blessing for the firstborn. But I wanted to just make a little bit of a reverse here. Did Jacob actually stole the birthright? I would say no. You know, because if we read the parasha perfectly well, we see that actually Jacob did not steal it, but actually Esau sold it to him. He didn't steal yes, he stole one. That is the blessing from the father, which is from Isaac. But the other one, he didn't. Technically, he didn't, but the other one, Esau sold it to him by it's a business transaction. He was hungry. It's okay. Give me this, and you take this, and then and Esau agreed, and and the business was sealed. So I would technically say Jacob Abenu did not steal the birthright blessing, but the birthright position, which is the being the first. He didn't steal it, but it was a business transaction between him and his brother Esau. I started by saying this is a story of continued deceit. How so? Recall that last week Jacob deceived his blind father into thinking that he was Esau, tricking Isaac into giving Jacob the blessing meant for the firstborn. This week we deal with another firstborn, Leah. Jacob worked for Laban for 7 years so he could marry Rahel. On his wedding night, a woman was brought to the nuptial chamber, to his chamber in the dark. In the dark, Jacob, like his father, was blind. You see, so it is a trickery over a trickery. You see, it's a deceit over deceit. I want us to understand this principle very, very well. There's a saying that says, what goes wrong comes wrong. Understand? Because if you cheat your brother and you think that you are smart and you are very intelligent, think of if you put yourself in your brother's shoe. What will have happened to you if you are the one that is being deceived? So now God is turning the table around against Jacob. God wants Jacob to realize, to understand, yes, I have chosen you from the beginning. I have chosen you, even though before you were born, I have chosen you. But the path that you took is not right with me. I don't like it. And this is what I want us to understand. The God that we serve is a God of justice. The God that we serve is a God that forgives iniquity. Remember, he's a God the most merciful, the most gracious, and the most compassionate. Understand? He forgives iniquity, but you still have to face the consequence of your action. So this is the consequence of the action of Jacob Avinu. Even though the Holy One, blessed be He, has forgiven Jacob for the sin that he has sinned, but he still has to face the consequence of his action. So now the table is turned around now, and Jacob Avinu is at the receiving end. So let him feel what Esau, his brother, felt when he stole the blessing from him. He thought he had one daughter when he actually had the other. The rabbis thought that Jacob was weary of Laban treasury, and he had arranged for Rahel to touch the big toe of his right foot, his right thumb, and the right ear, so he would know it was she. Though Rahel loved Jacob, she also loved her sister and did not want to see her being disgraced. So she told Leah the signs, and whenever Jacob called Rahel, Leah would answer him. So Jacob had answered his father. So the same thing that he did to his father, the same thing that is being done to him now. So the deceit it had perpetrated on his father came back to do what? To haunt him in the same fashion. You see? So this is what I'm saying, that what goes round comes round. Yes, Jacob labored for Rahel for 7 years at the time of the marriage, right? Because Jacob realized that this man, my uncle Laban, is a trickish man. That Laban is a thief, you know. So he is very, very, very concerned about this. So he went to make an arrangement with Rahel, you know, that okay, this is the signals that you are going to do for me to realize that it is you. But Rahel loved Jacob, yes, but he also loved his sister, and he doesn't want the sister to be disgraced. He doesn't want the shame, because it's going to be a family shame now if they find out that this is the plan. So therefore, Rahel has no choice than to go and tell Leah all the signs that he has agreed with Jacob Avinu. And so that was how the plan went through. So, but what I'm trying to give us understanding here is that what he did by deceiving his own father, saying, "I am Esau," but remember that Isaac realized very well. He knows that this is not Esau, but he said the voice is the voice of Jacob, but the hand is the hand of Esau. The same thing here, the same fashion, that the way he deceived his father Isaac, the same way he himself is being deceived. Laban is portrayed as a wealthy man who would do anything to increase his wealth, all the while being very civil, you know. When Jacob asks for wages, he says, don't worry, I want all the striped and the spoiled goat and the dark sheep. Laban agreed. Then takes all those animals from the herd and hide them away from Jacob. Jacob used a trick too, with stripped pieces of wool to cause the goat to be striped and spotted, and the sheep to be dark. Thus he grew very, very rich. So you see, trickery always beget trickery. Deceit beget deceit. The more you deceive, the more you yourself will be deceived. So we have a lot of countries, a lot of nations, even though some government officials who are of the powerful and the most powerful country in the world, some of the governments or officials will come and say, oh, we lie, we deceive, and we are so powerful. Is that a thing that a government official of a powerful country in the world should be saying publicly? Say, oh, we deceive people, we love to deceive people. But the way you deceive, the way you will be deceived. It is, you cannot escape it. What goes round comes round. So, and why you think that you are the most, you are the most greatest, the most powerful, and you are in your prime, and that is when you will fall, because you are so comfortable and thinking that, oh, nothing can happen, and that is when God will come and cut the stool under you. Then you will know that you can feel the way other nation that you have deceived also felt. So this is it's a very, very important thing, because we can see the life of Laban. That's why we call it Laban the Aramean. He has Laban the Aramean is a very, very wicked man. His plan against our forefather, against Yaakov Avinu, was a deadly plan. He doesn't want anything good to come out of Yaakov Avinu. His plan is that if I cannot have it, let nobody have it. You see, because he realized by divination, he understood that his blessing is because of Yaakov Avinu. And if Yaakov Avinu leave, the blessing will leave. And so therefore, he will do everything possible to keep Yaakov Avinu at his own disposal. So this is the understanding I want us to understand from here. He is a man that is very civil, He tells you what you want to hear, And if you come, he never tell you that, oh, repent, for the kingdom of God is at hand. Remember, he's a very civil, intelligent, smart man. This is what's happened to me. You say, okay, come. He will pretend as if he cares about you. He will show you some kinds of trick, and you will say, oh, this is the man of God. Oh, this is a great preacher. He's a miraculous. He performs miracles. But where is those miracles coming from? Do you understand? Is it from the source of light or from the source of darkness? Is it from the positive side or from the negative side? Remember, negative can perform a miracle too. Darkness can perform a miracle too. But we as a human being, sometimes we don't even ask. We think that everything is the way it is automatic. No, everything is not the way it is, and it is not automatic. So we have to question, question more. There is a man, a journalist, that always his slogan, he said, question more. Larry King said, question more. You have to ask questions, you have to understand. You don't have to just sit down and say, oh, okay, everything is fine and everything is hunky-dory. And that is the life of our father, Yaakov Avinu. Yaakov Avinu asks questions a lot. He doesn't just sit down and fold his hand and say everything is fine. No, you have to ask questions. You have to understand what is going on. What is this man that he's showing me as if he is an angel, but actually is a demon. So you have to understand that principle. Trickery, answer with trickery. The rabbi asks how such a pious, a righteous, a just man as Yaakov Avinu could do such a thing. After all, he was well versed in the Torah and studied and prayed all the time. They answer that a pious man had the right to answer trickery with trickery. That is the stand of our rabbis. See, when you are being deceived, a rabbi said you have the right to deceive them back. You see, because it is what? Because of what? Because trickery beget trickery. Yaakov Avinu did everything that he could to satisfy his uncle Laban. But at the end, what did he get from it? If we leave it just for what the intention of Laban against him, he would have gotten nothing. Even though when he pursued after him, we are going to see that in next week Parashah 2. what did he say? He said, "You took my children, you took my my grandchildren, you took everything from me. You took all my gold, all my." He claimed everything to be his own, which is not true, because Jacob actually worked for all these things. In our tradition, when you give your daughter to a man, it is no longer your daughter, it has become the wife of another person. But to Laban, the Aramean, the children are still his. His daughters are still his. And all the children that was born to Jacob Avenu are his. You know, so you can see the mind of this evil man, that he doesn't want to give Jacob Avenu nothing, anything. He wanted to take everything from him. If not, because the Holy One, blessed be He, is with our forefather Jacob Avenu. Frankly, I think Jacob was a scoundrel too, but a lovely one. The Torah seems to think so too, as he didn't have an easy life. His favorite son was thought to be dead for many years. He suffered through famine. His daughters was raped. 2 of his sons destroyed a town. His oldest son lay with one of his wives. He paid for his crime. That is what I want us to understand. It wasn't easy for Jacob Avenu. It was like a roller coaster, you know, in his life. He suffered a lot for the simple action that he deceived his brother by taking the blessing of his brother that rightly belonged to his brother, not to him. Remember, he said the Torah said that Jacob I love and Esau I hate. It is not us to do the work of God for God. Let God do his work. I always say that whenever man put his hand in what God is doing, we spoil it. God has already ordained from the beginning. God has told the mama Rivka that, listen, the younger one shall be supreme over the eldest one. So why can't we just leave it that way and let God bring to pass his plan? If we would have been patient and allowed God to bring to pass his plan, all this trouble wouldn't have come. The hatred, the bitterness in the family wouldn't have come. Remember, I always say that the Hebrew family is always a broken family. I don't know why, but it is always like that. From Abraham Avenu to Isaac Avenu, even to Jacob Avenu. You see, they always take side. They take one child and they love that child so much and display it among the rest. And this actually is not the right step. I talked about that last week, that it is not the right things to do. Even though if you love one child because of his or her character or the way he reasoned or she reasoned, you don't suppose as a parent to show it openly for the rest or among the rest of the children. How is this a story of accomplishment? Remember, I said it earlier. It's also a story of accomplishment. Think about it. Jacob arrived at Laban, his uncle, penniless, and leaves a rich man with 4 wives, 11 sons, and 1 daughter. I will call that an accomplishment and a love story. How many of you or of us men will have worked 7 years for your future father-in-law so that you could marry your wife, and then another 7 years to be cheated in order for you to marry the one that is not even the one that you really want, and you have to wait another 7 years to eventually marry the one that you actually love. So Jacob Avenu came to Haran penniless with just a stick, no even bread, and with maybe 1 cloth upon him, and maybe a shoe, or maybe he's even barefooted. But the Lord our God, the God of our fathers, was with him. The God of his father was with him, and he left as a wealthy, very rich, super rich man. And that is another point of my own argument, telling people, don't worry, be patient. The key to everything in life is about patience. Be patient. Wait for the Lord. Wait for God's time. At the appropriate time, God will answer you. God will not bypass you. Remember that. He said that I know the thought I thought about you is a thought of good, not of evil, to give you your expected ends. So the thought of God for us individually and collectively is a thought of good, not of evil. So do not rush. Why are you rushing? Why are you? Oh, now I understand. It is painful. Maybe your situation now is tough. Maybe you can say, oh, I cannot bear this situation no more. I cannot withstand this pain no more. I just want to, that is the end. Fini. That is the end. I want to go. I have to go to the dark side, to go and make some magic, or to go and do some negative thing to get rich, or to heal myself, or to do this and that. I want you to be patient. Jacob Abeno faced the same circumstances, but patience always prevails. Once you are patient, God will never bypass you. Your time for your success, your time for your glory, your time for your blessing, for your time for your beauty will never bypass you. It will never. For God has already ordained that you are going to be successful in life. So it might take some time, but be patient. And once you are patient, you will surely receive your blessing. This parasha is a journey into faith. At the beginning of the parasha, after his dream with the ladder, Jacob vowed, if God remain with me, if he protect me on this journey, that I am what I am making, and give me bread to eat and clothes to wear, and if he return me back to my father's house, the Lord shall be my God. Genesis chapter 28 verse 20 to 21. The rabbi took this last part, the Lord shall be my God, to mean that Jacob will dedicate himself to God. I look at it another way. I take this statement at face value. Jacob is saying, hey God, if you keep me safe, right, and let me prosper, then I will worship you. Okay, let us look at it from the other side. What if God did not do that? That means that he won't worship God? You see, it is a thing that we have to think about. What is not here is the otherwise. Okay? The otherwise is, you won't be my God if you did not do what? If you did not bless me. He is making a breach of his own with God. We actually have to peek into we actually have to peek into next week portion to see that Jacob does his own with God. We actually his faith with God. When he is about to meet Esau, he prayed to God to help him survive the encounter. At no time in dealing with the wily Laban does he ask for any help from God, knowing he has prospered. Jacob fulfilled his part of the breach of the agreement by praying to God for the first time. We can see this in the history of our father. Jacob Abeno, in no time, in nowhere written in the Torah that he actually lay down and prayed to God that God should do what? Save him from the hand of Laban. No, never. Even though the way Laban treated him so badly. This is your own uncle. See, the way your own uncle treats you. No, there is no one time that it is written in the Torah that Jacob broke down. I said, poor me. He said, no, he stood up and said, I can make it right. You see, he is a man, and he stood up as a real man. When I mean a real man, not men, that abuse their wife, calling themselves real men. Those are not real men. Jacob is a real man. He actually came to grow up in the house of Laban. In the house of his mama, remember, it was a spoiled child. But in the house of Laban, he grew into a manhood, a real man who can stand anything. A real man who can stand his own ground. Who can say, no, uncle, the way you are doing is not right. Okay, you think that you can trick me? I will do what? I will bypass your trickery. You know, so Yaakov Avinu wasn't a dumb man, as many people as thought. Say, you know what? I will give you my left face. You slap it. I will give you the second one. You slap it. That is not. It's not written in the Torah in such a way. No. If somebody slap you once, you slap them back 10 times. Let them realize that this action won't be accepted or won't be tolerated. That is exactly what Yaakov Avinu is doing with Laban. You think you can trick me? Then I will bypass this. All the ladders, all the walls that Laban, his uncle, erected before him, he overcame them all. But in the case of Esau, the first time in his life, the Torah said, and Yaakov broke down and prayed. Why did he do that? We're going to discuss about that next week. It's just a kind of intrigue. I want you to understand. I want us to understand. For the first time in his life, Yaakov Avinu broke down and begins to cry, begins to pray that God, I need you to help me. Now it is the time that I need you to come now and intervene in my life. Remember, they are of the same father, the same mother. It's not Laban, his uncle. This is the same father, the same mother, the same blessing, the blessing of Abraham that's upon them now. So now it's a kind of a balance. It's two forces coming together to fight. And so he has no choice than to ask God, the Holy One, blessed be He, to intervene, to help him to do what? To overcome. Treachery, accomplishment, love, and faith. This parasha deals with the gamut of human deeds and emotion. As I tell you, or as I tell my Torah students, what is most important is what we can learn from this story. Treachery and deceit don't pay. Remember that. They may come back and hunt you. Work smart and hard. I also always say, work smart and hard like our father Yaakov Avinu, and you will be rewarded. To truly love another is something beautiful and to be desired. To have faith in God, one must test that faith. God will not be found wanting. That is the truth. The Holy One, blessed be He, will never be found wanting or lacking. No. Once you put your faith in God, once you say, God, this is me, this is my whole being, this is my entire being, I need you to help me. I need you to take control of my life. I need you to be the driver of my ship, or the pilot of my plane, or the captain of my ship, or the driver of my car. God, I'll put everything in your hand, in your control. I need you to assist me. God will never be found wanting. He will always come to assist you. The only thing that He desires from you is a total obedience. I know it is very hard for us as a human being to say, oh no, my destiny is in my hand. You know, I cannot give this God, they call God, I can't even see Him. How can I give Him the control of my life? No, that can't work. But I beg you, try it. Just try it for one day, and you will never regret it. I'm telling you. Because once you commit your life into the hands of the omnipotent one, into the hands of the omnipresent one, then you will never be found wanting. You will never lack. That is what David Hamelech said. David the king. He said, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not lack. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. What he's saying, that once you commit your being, yourself, into the hands of the Almighty, you will never lack, and God will never be found wanting. He will always be there to assist you, to help you, to lift you up. Where that mountain, that wall that you think that you cannot fly, the Holy One, blessed be He, will put you upon His wing, and He will help you to fly it over, just like the way He did in the life of Yaakov Avinu. Yaakov Avinu was a man of accomplishment. He was a man of what? Of love, a man of faith, and a man of trickery too, a man of deceit. He has to do that for him to survive. If not, he would not have gotten all the things that he had. Remember that it was Laban, his uncle, that started it. And so he has to defend himself. He has to defend his own interests. He has to defend his family. He has to defend his wife. He has to his wives. He has to defend his children. So he has to provide for their needs. It's not saying, okay, you know what, I sit down and, oh God, help me, and you are sitting down, you are doing nothing. How is that possible? When you ask help from God, then you have to do something, and you see the blessing flowing in. So this is what I'm trying to let us to understand this morning. Parshas Va-Yetze. And he left. But remember, deceit beget deceit. Jacob Abinu suffered a lot because of his deceit. But he grew up. He realized what he did against his brother was wrong. And he made all the necessary steps to do what? To make it right. This is what we call teshuvah. Jacob Abinu was a man that is really convinced. Once he is convinced in his mind, in his soul, that yes, this thing I did is wrong. This thing I did is not right. He made all the effort to make it right. So this is what I am telling us, my people, that we as a child of God, we should try as much as possible to always realize our fault. When we know that we are wrong, let's make every possible means to make it right. He deceived his father, he deceived his brother, and he went back. What I did is actually not right, because I have sat on the receiving end, and I know how you feel. I understand now what I did was wrong. At that time, I didn't know. I was eager. I was young. I was in my prime. But now I realized, and he came back begging for forgiveness. So this is what God is asking each and every one of us to understand, that you cannot deceive to get wealth. You cannot deceive to go ahead in life. Because once you think that, oh, I can deceive and get wealth and acquire all things, remember that you yourself will face the consequence of your own action. So therefore, we have to make sure that all things that we get it in the right way, in the right path, and let us continue to have faith in our God. Let us continue to have faith in the Holy One, and thereby Him lifting us up. When we think that everything, all hope is gone, just like the way Jacob Abinu thought all hope is gone, but God was there to lift him up. When you think that all hope is gone, He will always be there to lift you up. Parshas Va-Yetze. Shabbat Shalom.